Good afternoon to all. And after a long interval, we are meeting, and we have to discuss a small part of the first chapter remaining. And in the last class, we discussed about the lichens and what are the characters of lichens. And Vittaka does not include the lichens under any kingdom. And we already discussed that it is a symbiotic relation between alga and fungus. One alga, one fungus living together. Both are doing some functions, both are getting benefit. So it is a very strange combination in the nature. One organism, two organisms are living together as a single organism. That is called as lichen, and we discussed that phycobiont and mycobiont. So another type of organisms, we cannot call it as organisms, are not included by Vittaka in any kingdom. So that remains a small topic in the chapter called as viruses and viroids. Viruses and viroids. A special group of organisms called as viruses and viroids. See, now it is a matter of content we are discussing that because coronavirus comes. The structure of virus etc. is discussed more in the media and by scientific world. And you remember that viruses are a special group of structures. You see, they are very dangerous in the century, in the present century. There is no other organisms which cause this much of danger to living organisms and human beings. And that is by the novel coronavirus. And you see that these viruses are, according to the Vittaka in 1969 classified the complete living organisms into 5 kingdoms. And the lichens are not coming under any kingdom by Vittaka. He did not include these viruses under any kingdom. And similarly, viruses and viroids are not included by Vittaka in any kingdom. So remember that viruses and viroids are not studied or not included by Vittaka in any kingdom, because the viruses are identified in 1892 itself. See, they are identified in 1892 itself, and the classification proposed by Vittaka is in 1969. But Vittaka does not include this virus and viroids in any kingdom. Why? He did not consider viruses and viroids and virus in any living kingdom, because now also viruses are a matter of controversy in the scientific world. Why that is so? Because these viruses are not included, viroids are not included, cannot be considered as living or non-living. They are in a position between living and non-living things, because they are showing various properties which are similar to non-living things. They are showing some living character and some non-living character. So we cannot call them as living or non-living. But remember that they are very, very dangerous to human beings and other living organisms. And because of that reason, they are showing some living and some non-living character. Vittaka does not include these organisms under any kingdom. See, viruses are not included in any kingdom because they are showing some living properties and they are showing some non-living properties. Now also it is a matter of discussion, it is a matter of controversy whether they are living or non-living. First of all, what are the, you see, remember that the viruses are identified in 1982 by a scientist called as D.J. Ivanovsky. See, identified by D.J. Ivanovsky in 1982. And see, these viruses are showing various living and various non-living characters. First of all, what are the non-living characters of viruses, we can discuss. It is a matter of controversy. What are the living properties and non-living properties? They are showing more non-living properties than living properties. See, what are the non-living characters of virus? First of all, they have no cell structure. They have no cell structure is absent. You remember that all living organisms are made up of cells, whether bacteria, plant or fungus or what it may be. There may be prokaryotic cell or eukaryotic cell. But remember that viruses have no cell structure, no cytoplasm, no cell wall, no plasma membrane, no protoplasm, nothing is there. So, all the living organisms are made up of cells, but viruses have no cell structure. Second point, they have no metabolic activities. You remember that? They have no metabolism by themselves. See, it's very important that they have no metabolism by themselves. What is metabolism? All the living organisms are doing metabolism. What is metabolism? The sum total of chemical reactions taking place in the body is called as metabolism. We have seen that metabolism is a living character of living organism. What do you mean by metabolism? The respiration, digestion, growth, cell division, photosynthesis, etc. are called as what? Metabolism. Remember that viruses have no respiration, no digestion by themselves. What is the meaning of by themselves? They have no cell structure, so they cannot do metabolic activities by themselves. But they can do metabolic activities in the host cells in which they are attacking. See, outside the body, in the atmosphere, viruses are completely dead. They have no living property. Were outside the body. If the virus enter into our body, plant body, animal body, they are showing the symptoms of life. They are showing the properties of life inside the body, inside the living cell only. So remember that outside a living body, outside a living cell, viruses are completely dead. They are showing non-living properties. If once enter into our body, enter into plant body, enter into animal cell or plant cell, they are doing metabolic activities by the help of host cell, HOST, host cell in which they are attacking are called host cell. So they have no metabolic activities by themselves. Third point, they can be made into crystals. Living organism cannot be made into crystals, but they can be made into crystals like sodium chloride or potassium chloride. These are the non-living properties of viruses. And some of the scientists have opinion that viruses are living. Why they consider viruses are living? Because viruses have genetic material. See, viruses contain genetic material, maybe DNA or RNA. Viruses contain genetic material. This chalk piece have no DNA or RNA because it is a non-living thing. But viruses contain DNA or RNA as genetic material. According to a group of scientists, this presence of genetic material is an important living character. And another property is that they cause various diseases in plants and animals. See, very dangerous because they can cause diseases. This non-living material cannot cause diseases. But viruses enter into plant body, enter into animal body, and they cause various disease which is dangerous to plants and animals. You know, influenza virus or HIV virus or coronavirus, like that tobacco mosaic virus various viruses are there which cause very, very dangerous diseases in plants and animals. So some of the scientists have opinion that they are living, they are showing the signs of life because they contain genetic material, either DNA or RNA, and they cause various severe diseases in plants and animals, so they are living. So in the living world, viruses are a matter of controversy. They are showing some non-living properties and they are showing some living properties. So it's a question carrying 2 marks. Discuss the living and non-living properties of virus. Because of this reason, Whittaker does not include the organisms under any kingdom. Then there is no cell structure. So what is there? If there is no cell structure, then what is there? So what do you mean by virus? See, viruses are having simple structure. See, they have a genetic material, either DNA or RNA, covered by a protein covering. See, this is the structure of virus. You have seen the structure of coronavirus in media. Corona means a covering is there, protein covering is there. For the corona there is an oil covering so that it can be washed by soap. See, this is a structure of virus. Structure of virus is very simple. No cell, but what is there? They have a genetic material. They have a genetic material that is mostly DNA or RNA. And covered by a protein covering. This protein covering is called what? Protein covering is called a capsid. That covering is called a capsid. So this is the structure of virus. Have no cytoplasm, there is no cell wall, there is no cell membrane, nothing is there, a genetic material covered by a protein covering. This is the structure of virus. Very simple structure. That may vary from virus to another virus, may vary structurally, but commonly there is a genetic material. The genetic material may be DNA or RNA covered by a protein covering called a capsid. The protein covering of virus is called a capsid. And this capsid contains small pieces. They contain small pieces like, and these small pieces are called capsomere. See, the covering is called capsid, and one piece of the covering like this piece is called a capsomere. One unit of the covering is called capsid is called a capsomere. Small pieces are there like that. So this is the structure of virus, which is to be very simple. And we have to explain the structure of 2 viruses in the textbook. That is there. Then comes the viruses are of 3 types. Viruses are classified based on the genetic material into DNA virus, RNA virus, and they are based on the host on which they are attacking. They are attacking on host body. They attack plants, they attack animals, they attack other living bacteria. So the viruses they are classified into 3 groups. On the host, on the attacking. Some of the viruses are called phytophages. Some of the viruses are called zoophages. Some of the viruses are called bacteriophages. See, viruses based on which they are attacking, they are classified based on their living. They are classified into 3 categories: phytophages, zoophages, and bacteriophages. Viruses which are attacking plants are called phytophages. Viruses which are attacking plants are called phytophages. And example is there: tobacco mosaic virus. Tobacco mosaic virus, which is the first isolated virus. Then like that, Musa virus 1, Musa virus 1, like that. Various virus attacking plants are called phytophages. Virus attacking animals are called zoophages. You may remember various examples are there. HIV virus, influenza virus, coronavirus. These are all viruses attacking animals are called zoophages. Viruses attacking bacteria are called bacteriophage. Remember that viruses attack bacteria also. Such viruses attacking bacteria are called as bacteriophage. Example, T2 bacteriophage. Most examples are there. T2 bacteriophage. Phage means virus. Remember the word meaning of the word phage means virus. Phage means virus. Viruses attacking plants are called phytophages. Attacking animals are called zoophages. Attacking bacteria are called bacteriophages. For what they are attacking plants and animals? Why they are causing diseases? Remember that viruses are attacking our body for multiplication. They have to multiply. They cannot reproduce by themselves. Another non-living property. You add the third point. Viruses cannot reproduce by themselves. All living organisms can reproduce sexually or asexually or vegetatively. But viruses cannot multiply by themselves. That is another non-living property. So how they multiply? They enter into our body, our cell, and control our cellular activities. If they are entering into our body, what happens? If they are entering into our cell, suppose a virus is there, that virus enter into our cell. A virus enter into our cell. What happens is that the virus after entering into our cell, this virus or genetic material, you remember that virus means protein cod does not enter, protein cod remains outside, the cod remains outside, the DNA enter into our body, viruses enter into our cell and control our metabolic activities, control our cell, control our bodily process, multiply inside our cell. So for what virus attack into plants and animals? They attack plants and animals, enter into our body, control our metabolic activities and multiply inside our cell or host cell. So for what virus attack our body? For multiplication or reproduction. So they are very dangerous. If they enter into our body, they multiply inside, they reproduce inside our cell by our own cytoplasm and cellular structures. By using our mitochondria, our nucleus, our ribosome, our cytoplasm, virus multiply. Because viruses have no cell structure. So, they enter into our body, they control our body, they by using our structures, they multiply and they attack nearby cells. By that, they control our bodily process. Remember that? That is the method by which they are attacking our body for their reproduction because they cannot reproduce by themselves. So they enter into plant body, enter into animal body and multiply and attack our complete systems. So like viruses cannot reproduce by themselves. Viruses are classified into three categories: phytophages, zoophages and bacteriophages. Phage means virus. Then structure of virus, you see, remember that viruses are having a structure. In the textbook there are two diagrams are there. One called as tobacco mosaic virus and another bacteriophage. So two diagrams are there in the textbook, you have to do that. Then the diagrams come like that. First identified virus is tobacco mosaic virus. See, first identified virus, tobacco mosaic virus, TMV, tobacco mosaic virus by D.J. Ivanovsky in 1892. And you remember, tobacco mosaic virus. It caused mosaic disease in tobacco leaf. In Kasaragod area, tobacco cultivation is common. Are you seeing the leaves of tobacco plant? Green leaf of tobacco. And on the leaf of tobacco, we can see like this dot like structures like this. See, on the tobacco leaf, you can see dot like structures can be seen. And this is a disease. And this is called mosaic disease, like a mosaic pattern, dot pattern. So this is called tobacco mosaic disease. And this is caused by tobacco mosaic virus, which is an example for RNA virus. This is an example for RNA virus, RNA as genetic material. So, example for RNA virus, tobacco mosaic virus. First identified virus, isolated virus, tobacco mosaic virus, which cause mosaic disease in tobacco plant. And the diagram is there in the textbook. And the tobacco mosaic virus you have to identify for the examination. Tobacco mosaic virus, they contain an RNA inside. There is a diagram in the textbook. RNA, and this is covered by a protein covering. This is covered by a protein covering. Protein covering is made up of small pieces like that. Protein covering is made up of, this covering is called protein covering. It's called protein covering like that. This is covered by a protein covering, and this protein covering have numerous pieces like that. And this is the RNA. See, diagram is the textbook. RNA. This is the protein covering called capsid, and these pieces are called, small pieces are called capsomere. This is the structure of tobacco mosaic virus. You have to draw the diagram from the textbook. In the notebook, you have to draw the diagram. By looking at the textbook, you have to draw the diagram. Tobacco mosaic virus. The diagram consists of a genetic material covered by a protein covering called capsid, which are made up of units called capsomeres. See, this is the first diagram you have to draw in the virus topic. Then comes the next one, diagram of a bacteriophage. This is very important genetically. A bacteriophage called as T2 bacteriophage. Bacteriophage means viruses attacking plants are called, so bacteria are called bacteriophages. See, the diagram is in the textbook. Bacteriophage, having this kind of shape, head-like part, a tail-like part, and then tail fibers like that. See, this is the diagram of bacteriophage. This is very important genetically. And inside there is a genetic material. This is the genetic material or DNA. And this is covered by the protein covering called capsid. This part is called head-like part. And this part is called tail-like part. And these are called tail fibers for attaching on the host cell. Between the tail and head, this joining part called as collar. We use this as collar between head and body. This structure is joining part is called collar. Similarly, there is a joining part called collar. And the head part, tail fibers are there to attach on the host body. And the head is made up of small subunits like that. Small subunits are there. These subunits are called as capsomeres. This is the structure of T2 bacteriophage. Bacteria attacking, viruses attacking bacteria are called bacteriophages. This bacteriophage, this is the diagram. Head part, tail part, collar and the tail fibers. This is the structure of bacteriophage. This is genetically very important. You have to draw the diagram in the notebook. So, two diagrams from this part. One diagram of tobacco mosaic virus, another diagram of bacteriophage, T2 bacteriophage. And these are the things related to viruses. And remember that a small structure related to virus is present. They are called as viroids. Viroids are smaller than viruses and they have a genetic material without protein covering. There is no protein covering, only genetic material. Very, very small structure. This genetic material is not covered by protein covering. They are present in the atmosphere. They are everywhere. And remember that they are super parasites. We can call these viruses and viroids as super parasites. And these viroids are, what is the difference between virus and viroids? Viroids are smaller than viruses and they have a genetic material not covered by protein covering. And they cause diseases like potato spindle tuber disease. Spindle tuber disease. The potato. For the potato, there is a disease for the potato that occurs. That disease is called potato spindle tuber disease caused by viroid. Remember that this is the name of disease caused by viroids. That much is about the viruses and the viroids. Remember that. By this we complete the first chapter, biological classification. So we will discuss about 5 kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Plantae, Fungi, Animalia, lichens, virus and viroids in detail. And something is there related to, confusion is there related to the classification of fungus. 4 groups. I have to explain little more because without drawing I cannot draw the diagram. I cannot explain that. So by this we complete the first chapter, biological classification. And notes are given. Complete the notes as soon as possible. Then we have to discuss the questions at the end of the chapter. At the end of the first chapter, there are certain questions. You have to write the question answers as the first assignment. So you have to write the first, all questions at the end of the chapter. We have to discuss and you have to write the first assignment. Before writing the first assignment, I will discuss the question answers. You listen very carefully and try to write the answers by yourself. I will give the discussions. Okay? And this is the notebook and you can write the assignment from the opposite side. This is the first front page of the notebook. From the last page you can write the assignment. See? From the last page you can write the assignment like that. From the last page in the opposite direction you can write the assignment. Assignment number 1, name of the chapter, and you can write the question answers like that. Question and answers. Okay? First of all, you write the question, you just draw a best margin, border, then write biological classification. Assignment number 1, date, today's date, 19th December 2020, first assignment. You write the question, then write the answer, then draw a border like that, then write second question, then write the answer. Question and answer should be written very clearly. Okay, we can discuss the questions. About 12 questions are there. We can discuss the questions. And first question is that state the economic importance uses of heterotrophic bacteria and archaebacteria. Uses of bacteria. What are the uses of bacteria? And what are the uses of bacteria? Bacteria are used variously. What are the uses? The bacteria called lactobacillus bacteria convert milk into curd. Various bacteria are used in leather industries and various are used in tobacco, curing of tobacco. You find out the examples from the textbook or somewhere and write the answer. Bacteria are used variously. Then what are the uses of archaebacteria? Archaebacteria are used for some purposes. What are archaebacteria? Methanogens, halophiles and thermoazirophiles. What are the uses of archaebacteria? Methanogens are very important industrially. What are the uses of methanogens? They are used for the production of methane, biogas industries, biogas fermenters. And some of the archaebacteria are used in genetic engineering that you can discuss later on. There is a bacteria called Thermus aquaticus bacteria. That bacteria is used in biotechnology and genetic engineering. So like that, bacteria are used. First of all, you write the uses of heterotrophic bacteria. Then write the use of archaebacteria. Okay. Then see the second question. What is the nature of cell wall in diatoms? What is the nature of cell wall in diatoms? What is the nature of cell wall in diatoms? The cell wall is like a soap box, small piece and a upper piece. It is made up of cellulose and deposited with calcium carbonate and silica. It is very hard in nature. And after the death, they sink down in the bottom of the ocean and they become a large deposit called as diatomaceous earth. They are used for making polishes and very cosmetics, or sometimes for making filters, etc., etc. So they are very important in industry. Diatoms, cell wall of diatoms. Then comes third question. Find out what do the terms algal bloom and red tide signify. What do you mean by algal bloom? The overgrowth of poisonous alga is called as algal bloom. The alga, when the water becomes contaminated, when the water becomes polluted, what happens? The pond and river, the contamination increases, what happens? The alga, overgrowth of the alga occur, the color of the water become green and become bad smell. So that overgrowth of alga is called poisonous alga is called algal bloom. Then what is red tide? You may remember red tide, gonialex. The dinoflagellates like gonialex overgrow when conditions are very favorable. They reproduce very fastly in ocean and surface of the ocean appears red in color. That is called what? Diatomaceous earth. And they are called as red tide. They are very dangerous because they destroy the living organisms. They destroy other algae and aquatic organisms. Then fourth question. How are viroids differ from viruses? Already given. Viroids are smaller than viruses and they are not covered by a protein covering. Then describe briefly 4 major groups of protozoa. Question number 5. Describe briefly 4 major group of protozoa. Notes are given: amoeboid protozoan, flagellate protozoan, ciliate protozoan and sporozoans. 4 group of protozoan organisms coming under the protozoans. 6th one, plants are autotrophic. Can you think some of the plants are partially heterotrophs? You may remember that all the plants are not autotrophs. Some are heterotrophs. Parasites are there. Insectivorous plants are there. You can write some are called parasite. Example 1, 2, 3. Some are called insectivorous plant catching insects. 1, 2, 3 example. 7th question. What do the term phycobiont and mycobiont signify? The lichen, first of all you write what are lichen, then you write algal component is called phycobiont and fungal partner is called mycobiont. And what is the duty of alga? What is the duty of fungus? You have to write. 8th one, give a comparative account of classes of kingdom fungi under the following: mode of nutrition, mode of reproduction. What is the mode of nutrition? What is the mode of reproduction? The answer you have to write the 4 columns, 4 groups: Phycomycetes, Ascomycetes, Basidiomycetes and Eutromycetes. Phycomycetes, the type of hypha is aseptate hypha, reproduction by fragmentation, then spore formation and sexual by conjugation. Second group called Ascomycetes, ascus producing fungus, septate hypha, reproduction by budding, asexual by conidia, etc. Then Basidiomycetes, then example, and you write Eutromycetes. 4 groups are there. You write simple characters only. Then question number 9. What are the characters of euglenoids? See, euglenoids are coming under kingdom. See, protista, euglenoids are there. Euglenoids are very important because they are showing special character. They have two cilia, one smaller and larger. And what is the character of euglenoids? When the sunlight is present, they prepare food by photosynthesis. In the absence of sunlight, they lose the cilia, sink downwards and eat as saprophytes, eat on decomposing dead organic matter. Then 10th one, give an account of viruses with their structure and genetic material and name some of the common viral diseases, structure of virus and virus diseases. Then 11 comes, what are living and non-living characters of virus? Already given in the text, what are the living and non-living characters of virus? Then 12th question is there. Explain how the classification systems have undergone several changes over a period of time. Classification changes. First classification by Charaka or Aristotle, or before that Charaka and Sushruta. Then comes the Aristotle, then comes the Carl Linnaeus, then comes the Five Kingdom classification. 1969. After that, various changes that we can discuss in the next class. What are they? So one question remains there. The 12th question, you write the question and leave one page for that. This is the last question. You can write the answer for 12th question after some time. After completing the portions, something we have to discuss. So, write the question number 12 and don't write the answer. Answer we can write after some time. You can write 11 question. 12th question, you leave the place. Then we can go to the next topic. Okay? So, the one question remain there. So, don't write answer for the 12th question. So, by the discussion, we complete the question discussion also. Listen, watch the video very carefully. Then you write the assignments from the opposite side of the textbook. Opposite side of the textbook. You write very neatly questions and answers. Don't copy the answers. Write the answers by yourself as an assignment. First assignment. So that's about the first chapter, biological classification. Then see the next chapter. Usually we have discussed the next chapter is plant kingdom. And as a change, I am not discussing the second chapter, plant kingdom. I am going to third chapter, morphology of angiosperms. Because sometimes the second chapter may be explained in the Victor's channel. So I am not waiting for that. I am going to third chapter, morphology of angiosperms in the next class. Because that is related to practical class. So we have to discuss the third chapter. So we remain the second chapter. I am not now discussing. I am going to the third chapter, morphology of angiosperm. That is very, very important for practicals. So complete the note, complete the assignment by Sunday itself. So tomorrow itself. So we can go to the next topic, next chapter in the next class. Thank you.